YouTube, what's happening? It is Friday, December 20th, and we're going to talk about college football, but not in the way you probably think we're going to do it. We are only going to focus on the playoff games, and there's a complete reason why we're only doing that. So we scroll down here, we see we have one playoff game tonight, Indiana Notre Dame. It's snowing. That's going to be awesome as hell to watch. And then we got the 3 games tomorrow on Saturday. The reason I'm only doing the playoff games is because the data is based, like, let me show you the data screen. This information is the whole season based on what you've done. Now, the playoff teams are pretty much intact. They still have all their players. A couple players, pieces here and there are gone. The other teams that aren't in the playoffs in your typical bowl games, all the other teams, upwards of half of their teams have already entered the portal, or they transferred out, or they're just sitting out for NFL. There's so many things. So the stats are completely screwed. It doesn't work out right. So I can't really use what I use to make my plays in these videos for the other games, but for playoffs, we can still use this information, which we will. So we're going to do a video on these 4 games. We're going to do these 4 games, and then I'll have another college football video when we have the next round of playoffs, but I won't have any for the other bowl games because it just doesn't make sense. The stats don't matter right now. Everything is just going to be based on vibes. So take what you want to take. So we're going to do these 4 games. Let's jump to the first game right now. Okay, well, obviously we're going to start off with Friday, the snow game, the Indiana Notre Dame game. But first, we're going to pop over here and actually look at what the odds are. So currently, we have Notre Dame is a 6.5 point favorite with a 50.5 total. We pop back over here because we're going to look at both teams. We're going to look at their schedules, and we're going to just see what they've been up to, just to have a little bit more information. So Indiana obviously won 11-1. Their only loss was they got that ass kicked by Ohio State. So not the best overall. Work had a terrible game. It's just, hey, sometimes you run into a highly talented team. That's Ohio State. And then we can look at Notre Dame, and everyone knows what Notre Dame did in their schedule. Yeah, that's right. You lost to Northern Illinois. How they lost that game, I still don't know, because their defense has been so damn good all year, except for this one game. Weird. I don't know. So they crushed Army. They beat USC. It's just, some of these games weren't even close. It was laughable. Florida State. Anyways, back to the numbers. So this is their season-long statistical data for these things. So passing, it was 28. Notre Dame's 3. Look how nasty that pass defense is. I don't know how well Rourke's going to do throwing the ball, but there you go. 101 versus 9. Notre Dame doesn't really throw much. Leonard's more of a runner. You can see, all you got to do is pop back over here. Look at, here's Leonard's passing every game. 1 1 1 1 1 2 2 1 2 2 1 1. He doesn't throw that much. He's more of a runner. So sometimes he runs for 143 like he did against Miami of Ohio. That's what he does. The main thing in this one is defense. Defense, defense, defense. Problem is, offense is really good too, but that's because I think, personally, I think these are skewed because their defense was so damn good, it's been putting them in good position. So based on this information, Indiana's not the best at running the ball. Notre Dame's not the best stopping it. So these two literally cancel out. 10 versus 1, the number 1 rush defense versus number 10. Yeah, I think this is going to be closer to the Indiana-Ohio State game than any other game Indiana has played. So now, do I think they lose 38-15? No. I think Notre Dame wins. I think Notre Dame covers, but I think the under is also in play as well. So for me, in this one, I am going to be taking Notre Dame 6.5. One, it's at home. The home playoff atmosphere should be amazing. This is my favorite part of the expansion of the playoffs, is the home playoff potential. It should be madness. And it's going to be snowing. How awesome. So, yeah, so I'm going to take Notre Dame at home by 6.5. I think the defense is just so damn good. I think Indiana's had a great season. I think it's over. Sad. Under 50.5 might be a play, but I think the one play I'm going to make for this game is we're going to take Notre Dame 6.5, and let's move on to the Saturday slate. All right, first game on Saturday is going to be SMU and Penn State, both 11-2. Let's pop over to the odds and see who's favored. We already know it's going to be Penn State by 8.5 with a 52.5 total. Let's look over at here. We're going to open up each team. Obviously, look at their schedule, see what they've been up to. SMU lost to BYU. That was a fun one. I actually made money on BYU that game. That was so nice. But then Clemson got them in the top. That game. Madness. So that's the reason why they're in the playoff and Alabama is not in the playoff, because that was such a good game. If it was a blowout, they wouldn't have been in, because it was looking like a blowout. But then, yeah, great game, great finish overall. Penn State, let's look at your schedule. Actually, let's go back to here real quick. Who else they play? They had Pittsburgh. Nah, it's not impressive. Really, their hardest game was Clemson, and okay. So, all right, Penn State, let's look what they've done. Ohio State beat them by 7, not bad. Oregon by 8. Penn State, I kept saying all year, they're not the 3rd best team. They're not the 4th best team. They're top 10. Yeah, they hung with the big dogs. So, okay, maybe I was a little bit wrong on Penn State. Maybe a little bit better than I thought they were. So, they were who we thought they were. We let them off the hook. Let's look over at the actual numbers. So, it's at Penn State. It's 8.5, 26 versus 16. Again, this is going to be kind of like the other last game with Notre Dame and Indiana, except SMU cannot stop the pass. And Penn State's not the biggest passing team, but SMU will shut the run down. 93 allowed all season. Pretty damn good. Ninth in rushing. Oops. Come back. There we go. Ninth in rushing and 49th in rushing. Yeah, I don't see many rushing yards happening in this game, especially for SMU. Passing versus this, I see SMU. That's kind of a push. 41 versus 91. Drew Allard should still be able to throw somewhat versus 91. I think it's going to be the defense again. This is 52.5 though. I didn't think Penn State had the offense to actually do anything, but they scored 37 on Oregon, 44 on Maryland, 49 on Purdue. That's Purdue. Only 20-13 Ohio State though. I kind of lean the under, but I think Penn State. Unless SMU storms back again, I just don't think they have the power to keep up with Penn State. Now, I don't think Penn State is going to go far in the tournament, but that's just me. I think Penn State gets them though. I can see Penn State by 8.5. That's a weird line. That number it's just sitting there. That's a weird one. 52.5. I don't like this whole either way. I would go under if I had to pick a play. I would go under, but I mean, yeah. You know what? Let's do that. I think I like under more than. I can see wait, this is Penn State. Who are we talking about here? They beat Illinois 21-7. Come on now. Come on now. So yeah, we'll take the under 52.5 because this is live. You can see it right there. And you can see which book you can get at too. So I'm gonna take the under for sure. I lean Penn State as well. I probably do a money line parlay today too, and Penn State will go in that. So we'll take Penn State money line. We'll take the under and move on to the next game. All right, moving on to the Orange Bowl, basically. Clemson and Texas, different shades of orange. You can see the records right there. Let's look at the odds. And we have Texas as 12.5. 50.5 on that total. Let's go back over to their schedules and see what they've been up to this year. So Clemson, they are 10-3. They are the ACC champions. They got their ass stomped by Georgia week 1. Louisville somehow randomly beat that ass too. And then South Carolina, that was a fun game to watch. That was a fun one. And then obviously SMU was a fun one as well. We just talked about SMU. So let's look at Texas before I make my fun opinion. So let's see. They played Georgia as well, and they lost. And then even though that was the infamous let's throw shit on the field game, it still didn't matter. So, and then they lost to Georgia again. So Georgia is now the new Alabama, and Texas is now the new Georgia. So they can't beat them. So they're 0-2 against Georgia, but they whooped everybody else's ass pretty much. It was, I mean, Vandy was close. So, all right, to the numbers. Let's go. 17 versus 1. Number 1 pass defense, number 13 rush defense, number 2 scoring defense, and Clemson's defense is not Clemson's defense. It's almost like you should probably got more players out of the portal. That might have helped a little bit. But hey, you're in the playoff. It worked. Dabo got to shut people up and say, look, I made the playoff without transfers. Bruh. Now he has transfers. There's been at least one committed. I saw. It was breaking news. 17 versus 1, 13 versus that's. Now, everyone's going to say, oh, Texas has a Quinn Ewers problem. Oh, put Arch in. No, Quinn Ewers is going to have a field day out here, I think, today. I think Texas is not only going to win, they're going to embarrass Clemson. That's just what I think is going to happen. It's in Texas. That's the biggest thing people are overlooking. People are so conditioned to think, oh, playoff game. We're forgetting the biggest thing. These are on home turfs. Not only are they home, this is playoff home. We never seen playoff home before. We've seen neutral loudness from teams. We've seen normal home games. Think of rivalry home games, but then bump it up a little. I think we're going to bump it a little more because this is playoff time. This is winner go home time for both teams. So home field is going to matter a lot more than people think, I think. So I'm taking Texas by 12.5. I would take Texas damn near up to 20. Wouldn't care. I think now Clemson all of a sudden plays a perfect game, which Dabo's good at doing. He could just mess things up, and Ewers could be the problem. It could be. But then Arch comes in, hell, he could be a problem too. Who knows? But I'm taking Texas 12.5 because I think the Texas defense is going to smother Clemson. I just don't know if they're going to do anything, but we'll see. I'm taking Texas 12.5. I will take Texas in the moneyline parlay. That is now a thing, apparently. That gives us 3 games. And let's move on to the last game. Okay, let's move on to the night game. In my opinion, the best game on the slate, because I don't know what to do in this one. Just going to throw that out there early. It's Tennessee, Ohio State. You see the numbers, so you see the odds. I mean, you see the records. Here are the odds. The odds have it Ohio State -7 at home in the shoe. 45.5 is that total. Let's look over the teams. Ohio State, you can see only loss. First loss was Oregon by 1 in an amazing game. And then somehow they just can't beat Michigan anymore. I don't know. Michigan was terrible this year. They were on passing. They were the third worst team in the country in passing. Literally third worst. That means one of the 3 service academies were better at passing than Michigan was, and yet they lost the game. What? Exactly. So, who knows? Let's go to Tennessee now. Tennessee was 10-2. They lost to Arkansas randomly. That is almost as random as Notre Dame losing to NIU. It just makes no sense. Like, what was this? This has made 0 sense at all. And then obviously Georgia was Georgia. When Georgia wanted to be Georgia, they kicked their ass. So yeah, there you go. Weirdness this year. Looking at the numbers though, Nico is 62nd passing for all year. That's his numbers. You see 38 for 17. It's the defenses again. There's a theme growing in this playoff. If you haven't noticed, yes, defense, nasty defense for Ohio State. Tennessee, nasty as well, but not as nasty. So mini nasty. I don't know. Offense is kind of slacking here for this one. It's 45.5. I think I want to go under. I don't know who the hell's going to win. I'm not taking Ohio State -7. I think this could be a field goal game, but then Ohio State could win by 30. I literally have no clue what's going to happen in this game. Nothing. No inkling, no lean. I'm hoping it's a low scoring game. That's all I want. I want a low scoring game under 45.5 because that's going to be my play in this game. We're going to go Tennessee. We'll type it right now. Tennessee versus Ohio State. Put the thing in there, and we're going to go under 45.5. It's a good number. 45 is a key number. We can work with that. So we have those 4 plays. I mean, if you like Ohio State, I'm not even putting Ohio State in the money line. That's how concerned I am because you don't lose to Michigan. It was your last game you played too. That's what bothers me the most. Like Notre Dame lost to NIU. Yeah, sure, that was week 2. Tennessee lost to Arkansas. That was October 5th. You lost to Michigan, your rival. That can mess with your brain. That can just mess with everything. So. And then you got not just your typical people calling for Ron Day to be fired. You getting some bigger voices. Like there's people in Ohio State that do not care about the title. They care that you lost to Michigan 4 times in a row now. He's got to be feeling that pressure. So if you lose this game, we might have breaking news tomorrow on Sunday saying that Ryan Day fired and Vrabel's the new coach. That's what they should do, probably. Anyways, let me just digress. Let me pop over here. So that is going to be the 3rd place. Now we are going to do a moneyline parlay, like I said. So we're going to take the first 3 because I do like Notre Dame to win, I do like Penn State to win, and I do like Texas to win. So we'll take those 3, put them together. I have no clue how to pay with these odds. Maybe 1-to-1, whatever. Who knows? I'm going to take those 3 anyway. So appreciate you watching. Drop a like, subscribe. We will be back on New Year's Eve. Let me show you. Who is the New Year? Who is playing on New Year's? I'm a question now. I'm a little wondering. Let's look. New Year's Eve, Bama, Michigan. That is not a playoff game. Okay, so Boise is hosting someone on Tuesday on New Year's Eve. The New Year's Day is going to be the other 3 games with Arizona State, Boise, Oregon, Georgia. Ooh, the playoffs are fun. So yeah, we will be back. I'll have a video on Tuesday, December 31st. We will see you then. I appreciate you being here. Drop a like, subscribe. Check out the website. You want play sent out to you all typed out nicely, and we'll see you then.